The studio audience sensed something special before Muhammad Ali even stepped onto the stage. The atmosphere felt different. There was excitement in the air. As Johnny Carson introduced him, the applause grew louder and louder. Then Muhammad Ali appeared, dressed sharply, smiling confidently, and walking with the unmistakable charisma that had made him one of the world's most recognizable faces. The crowd instantly stood up. Some cheered. Others laughed before Ali even spoke, simply because they knew something entertaining was about to happen. Johnny Carson welcomed him warmly. Instead of acting like a nervous host interviewing a sports star, Carson treated Ali like an old friend. That relaxed atmosphere allowed Ali's personality to shine from the very beginning. Within moments, the conversation became playful. Ali joked with Carson. Carson joked right back. The audience couldn't stop laughing. What made Muhammad Ali so unique wasn't only his boxing ability. It was his incredible presence. Whenever he entered a room, people naturally paid attention. He spoke with confidence, moved with energy, and made everyone around him smile. This was one of the reasons millions admired him. He understood that being a champion wasn't only about winning fights. It was about inspiring people every time they saw you. And during those opening minutes, Muhammad Ali reminded everyone exactly why he was one of the biggest stars on the planet. But behind the jokes and the laughter, Johnny Carson wanted to understand something much deeper. Where did Muhammad Ali's extraordinary confidence come from? That question would lead to one of the most memorable conversations of the entire interview. As the laughter settled, Johnny Carson turned the conversation toward the question that millions of people had always wanted to ask. How could Muhammad Ali be so confident? For years, the world had heard him say the same unforgettable words. "I am the greatest." To many people, it sounded like arrogance. But Ali saw it very differently. He explained that confidence wasn't something that appeared after success. It had to come before success. Long before he became heavyweight champion of the world, long before stadiums were filled with cheering fans, long before newspapers around the globe printed his name, he had already made a decision. He would believe in himself even if nobody else did. That mindset became one of the foundations of his career. Every challenge, every training session, and every fight began with the belief that he could overcome any obstacle. Johnny Carson listened carefully. Rather than interrupting, he allowed Ali to explain how powerful the human mind could be. Ali believed that many people fail before they even begin because they convince themselves that success is impossible. He encouraged people to replace doubt with determination, to dream bigger than others expected, and to work hard enough to make those dreams become reality. The audience responded with loud applause. These weren't just the words of a famous boxer. They were lessons from someone who had faced enormous pressure throughout his life. Ali's confidence had been tested many times. He had suffered defeats. He had faced criticism. He had been suspended from boxing during the prime of his career. Many believed he would never return to the top. Yet every setback became another opportunity to prove people wrong. Instead of allowing criticism to weaken him, Ali used it as motivation. He believed obstacles could either stop you or make you stronger. That choice belonged to each individual. Johnny Carson smiled as he realized something important. Muhammad Ali wasn't simply entertaining the audience. He was inspiring them. His confidence wasn't just about boxing. It was a philosophy for life. By the end of the discussion, many viewers understood that behind the famous catchphrases was a man who believed every person had the ability to shape their own future through courage, discipline, and unwavering self-belief. It was a message that continues to inspire people decades later. But Muhammad Ali wasn't only known for his confidence. He also possessed a remarkable sense of humor that could light up an entire room. And in the next chapter, that playful side of Ali would take center stage, creating some of the funniest moments of the evening. As the conversation continued, it became clear that Muhammad Ali wasn't just one of the greatest athletes in history. He was also one of the most entertaining personalities ever to appear on television. Johnny Carson had interviewed thousands of celebrities, actors, presidents, musicians, comedians, but Ali was different. He didn't need a script. He didn't need rehearsed jokes. His personality alone could fill the entire studio with laughter. Whenever Carson asked a question, Ali rarely gave a simple answer. Instead, he turned almost every moment into a story. Sometimes he answered with a joke. Sometimes with a clever one-liner. And sometimes he left both Carson and the audience laughing so hard that the conversation had to pause. One of Ali's greatest talents was his timing. He knew exactly when to be serious and exactly when to make everyone laugh. That balance made him unforgettable. Even people who weren't boxing fans found themselves enjoying every minute he was on stage. Johnny Carson played the perfect role. He never tried to compete with Ali for attention. Instead, he gave Ali the space to be himself. When Ali made a joke, Carson laughed with him, not at him. Their chemistry felt natural, relaxed, and genuine. It was less like a formal interview and more like two old friends enjoying a conversation. The audience loved every second of it. Applause echoed throughout the studio. Laughter filled the room. And every new story seemed even more entertaining than the last. But beneath all the humor was something deeper. Ali understood the power of making people smile. He believed laughter could bring people together, even if they came from different backgrounds, cultures, or beliefs. His ability to connect with people wasn't built only on his achievements in the boxing ring. It came from his warmth, confidence, and genuine love for entertaining others. That was one of the reasons he became more than a sports legend. He became a global icon. By the end of this part of the interview, viewers weren't just watching a heavyweight champion. They were watching a storyteller, a performer, and a man whose charisma could captivate millions without ever throwing a punch. But soon, the conversation shifted away from jokes and entertainment. Johnny Carson began asking about life beyond the boxing ring, about fame, responsibility, and what it truly meant to be Muhammad Ali. Those answers revealed a thoughtful side of Ali that many people had never seen before. As the laughter faded, the atmosphere in the studio became calmer. Johnny Carson gently shifted the conversation in a different direction. The jokes were still there, but now he wanted viewers to meet the man behind the world-famous nickname. Everyone knew Muhammad Ali as the fearless heavyweight champion, the fighter who predicted victories, the man who never seemed afraid of anyone. But who was he when the cameras weren't following him? Ali paused before answering. For a moment, the energetic entertainer gave way to a more thoughtful and reflective side. He explained that fame could open many doors, but it also came with enormous responsibility. People watched everything he did. Children looked up to him. Fans expected him to be strong, confident, and inspiring at all times. Ali believed that being a champion wasn't only about winning titles. It was about setting an example. He wanted people to understand that true greatness wasn't measured only by trophies or championships. It was measured by character, by kindness, by the way you treated other people. Johnny Carson listened closely. Instead of rushing to the next question, he allowed the moment to breathe. That silence made Ali's words even more powerful. He spoke about discipline, about waking up early to train when others were still asleep, about pushing through pain when giving up would have been easier. According to Ali, success was never an accident. It was built one day at a time through hard work, consistency, and belief. The audience responded with quiet admiration. Many had come expecting funny stories from a boxing legend. Instead, they were hearing life lessons that applied to everyone, not just athletes. Ali also reflected on the pressure of living in the public eye. Millions of people knew his name, but very few truly understood the sacrifices behind his success. The long training camps, the endless travel, the physical and mental demands of staying at the top. Despite those challenges, he remained grateful. He believed every obstacle had helped shape the person he had become. Johnny Carson smiled and nodded. He understood that this conversation had become much more than entertainment. It had become a rare glimpse into the mindset of one of history's most influential sports figures. For viewers watching at home, it was a reminder that behind every legendary achievement is years of dedication, sacrifice, and perseverance. But the evening wasn't over. Johnny Carson had one more fascinating topic to explore. He wanted to know how Muhammad Ali handled fear, pressure, and the enormous expectations that followed him wherever he went. The answer would become one of the most inspiring moments of the entire conversation. As the interview continued, Johnny Carson asked a question that fascinated everyone watching. People around the world saw Muhammad Ali as fearless. But was he really never afraid? Ali smiled before answering. His response surprised many people. He explained that courage does not mean you never feel fear. Fear is a natural emotion. Every athlete feels it. Every person faces moments of doubt. The difference, Ali said, is what you do next. Do you let fear control your life? Or do you move forward anyway? That philosophy had guided him throughout his entire career. Before every major fight, there was pressure. Thousands of fans filled the arena. Millions more watched around the world. One mistake could cost him everything he had worked for. Yet instead of focusing on what could go wrong, Ali focused on what he had already done. He remembered the long hours of training, the sacrifices, the discipline, the preparation. He believed that confidence comes from preparation. When you know you've done the work, it's easier to believe in yourself. Johnny Carson nodded in agreement. It was a lesson that applied far beyond boxing. Whether you're a student preparing for an exam, an entrepreneur starting a business, or someone chasing a lifelong dream, preparation builds confidence. Ali also spoke about failure. Many people remember his greatest victories, but every champion experiences setbacks. The important thing, he believed, was never to stay down. Every defeat carries a lesson. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. That mindset separated champions from everyone else. The audience listened in complete silence. The room that had echoed with laughter earlier was now filled with respect. Ali's words weren't loud or dramatic. They were simple, honest, and deeply meaningful. Johnny Carson thanked him for sharing such powerful insights. For a moment, it felt less like a television interview and more like a conversation between two friends discussing life itself. By now, viewers understood why Muhammad Ali remained one of the most admired people in the world. His greatest victories weren't only inside the boxing ring. They were the battles he fought within himself, choosing discipline over excuses, courage over fear, and hope over doubt. As the interview moved toward its final moments, Carson asked Ali to leave the audience with one lasting message. What followed became the perfect ending to an unforgettable evening. As the interview began to come to an end, Johnny Carson looked at Muhammad Ali and asked one final question. If you could leave people with one message, what would it be? The studio suddenly grew quiet. The laughter faded. Everyone wanted to hear what the heavyweight champion would say. Ali smiled and paused for a moment before speaking. He explained that every person is born with potential, but potential means nothing without action. He believed that too many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect opportunity instead of creating one. According to Ali, success doesn't belong to the strongest or the luckiest person. It belongs to those who are willing to work harder than everyone else, stay disciplined, and never give up when life becomes difficult. He reminded the audience that every great achievement begins with believing in yourself, but belief alone is never enough. Real success comes from dedication, sacrifice, and the courage to keep moving forward, even after failure. Johnny Carson listened carefully, knowing this conversation had become much more than a celebrity interview. It had become a lesson about confidence, perseverance, and the mindset of a true champion. As the audience applauded, it was clear that they had witnessed something special. They hadn't just met one of the greatest athletes in history. They had heard the thoughts of a man whose influence reached far beyond the boxing ring. Even decades later, this unforgettable conversation continues to inspire millions of people around the world. Muhammad Ali proved that true greatness isn't measured only by championships or records. It's measured by the lives you touch, the courage you show, and the hope you give to others. His story reminds us that confidence should be earned through preparation. Success should be built through hard work, and every setback can become the beginning of an even greater comeback. That is why Muhammad Ali remains one of the most admired figures in history. His legacy lives on not only because of what he achieved inside the ring, but because of the inspiration he left behind for future generations. If you enjoyed this story, Let us know your favorite Muhammad Ali moment in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more legendary celebrity interviews and inspiring stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.